new to on the board of directors. We do have a number of local board members that are part of our board for the hospital and the foundation. If they just raise their hand for a second, all of our local board members are present with us today. Thanks, Steve. Also with us, as I've said, Congressman Steve King will make some remarks. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Gary. I want to start out by thanking you and Ed in particular as the two anchor stalwarts here to get this Veterans Clinic off the ground and to make it happen. And it's a community effort. The congratulations goes out to the entire board, the chairman of the board, Mr. New, and all of you. And you know, sometimes when there's an event that's scheduled, I will say, couldn't you pick a better day? This is the event when one could not have picked a better day to open a Veterans Clinic on Veterans Day in Carroll, Iowa. To me, it's a perfect day for us. We need to come together anyway and thank our veterans today. We get to do this in two ways. We have an opportunity, and I have that opportunity to say this and express this as much as I've had the privilege to represent you, and I've traveled around the world and gone to military base after military base, Veterans Hospital after Veterans Hospital. I set it up in my schedule during at least the longest part of the conflict in Iraq that I would go either Bethesda or Walter Reed and visit our wounded veterans there at least once a quarter so that I knew the sacrifice and I knew firsthand the pain and suffering that's gone through so that we can have our liberty, so that we can have our freedom. And that's what we're here to say thank you about today. I would add maybe a narrative that helps bring this home, that hits home for me today. It happens that I have one of my staff people at Walter Reed today, and they are there to commemorate and to review a display at Walter Reed Army Hospital. And it's one that I was in Iraq about 3 years ago or 4, when I went into the trauma center there at the Tent Hospital in Balad, Iraq, north of Baghdad. The commanding officer was from Iowa, and his name was, let me see, if I can remember it now, oh yes, Colonel Masterson, in fact, Matt Masterson, they called him. He gave us the tour through the Tent Hospital. Tent Hospital was like a MASH unit. It had sandbags up head high. We walked in, there was an American flag awning a tunnel that these wounded soldiers came through on a gurney. And the ceiling of that tent awning was a huge American flag. And it said to anyone that made it that far, you're in our hands now, you're on American territory now, and you're going to make it. And Bay 2, that had painted on the floor the Roman numeral 2 and a 4-foot by 9-foot slab of concrete with just canvas on the outside, sandbags on the outside of the canvas. Matt Masterson, the colonel, told us that day, this is where we take the first patient or the most traumatized patient, and this is where we have as many as 8 different physicians working on a single patient at the same time. And sometimes under mortar attack, sometimes they're being shot at, but they always stay there and provide the best medical care possible. And I looked down at that slab of concrete, and there, the sealer of the concrete had been scuffed up because of the steel pegs that are the legs of the litters that have bicycle wheels on them, the stretcher on a bicycle wheel type of a car. And that concrete floor was soaked with blood and antiseptic and the things that flow off of an emergency treatment like that. And they told me they were going to bulldoze that all up in another few weeks and move everything over to a new modern hospital like this new clinic facility that we're here to celebrate the opening of today. And I looked at that and I realized that's hallowed ground. And I didn't make the decision on the spot. I knew what I wanted to do, but I went back and I talked to some of our soldiers, talked to some of our wounded, and I said, I want that. I want to save that display, and I want to bring that display back to the United States. And today they're reviewing that display at Walter Reed Hospital at the Medical Museum at Walter Reed. They saw the concrete floor out of that tent and then picked that up and put it on a C-130 and flew it back, it might have been a C-17 actually, and flew it back to the United States. And they brought back all of the tent surroundings. They brought all of the medical fixtures and the equipment that they had exactly the way it was then. They reestablished it back here in the United States, including the door, the little screen door that was on when you walk into the tent, with the prayer on the door that was there when I visited that location at Malad in Iraq. That's a way that we can look at this and understand the sacred sacrifice of our veterans and the sacred duty that we have to hold up our part of this bargain, to see to it that we take care of them coming off the battlefield, that we do our part to take care of our veterans throughout their lifetime, so that each of our veterans can have the facilities and the services that are state-of-the-art, the best that we can provide in this country that provides the best healthcare system in the world. And so I'm very pleased to be here today to say thank you to our veterans, to let you know that this country appreciates you with the deepest of gratitude. One symbol of it is the opening of this Veterans Clinic here. 8 years ago, we looked at the logistics in the 5th District, this western third of Iowa, and set a goal. And we wanted to see a Veterans Clinic so that no veteran had to drive more than 60 miles to come to a clinic and receive top-notch medical care. This clinic is the most logical of them all, and it's the one that pleases me the most. And I say thank you to our veterans, thank you to the community of Carroll County, the surrounding area, all of the support that's there for this. And thank you for standing up and keeping our agreement, keeping our responsibility and our duty to those who have done their duty. Congratulations to the community of Carroll, to the board, and to the Veterans Administration for this great decision and for launching this off today.